Before we go any further, we need to ground this in truth. There is no verified public report that Savannah Guthrie's mother has been abducted, no confirmed ransom deadline, no Catalina foothills crime scene, and no private bombshell confession from Drew Barrymore. Repeating unverified claims about real people, especially involving crimes, blood evidence, or secret emotional dynamics, can cause real harm. So instead of amplifying speculation, let's shift the lens. Let's talk about something real and human, how public figures carry private pressure, how friendships in the spotlight evolve, and why we're so quick to turn emotional nuance into headline drama. That's a conversation worth having. And it doesn't require fictional emergencies to make it compelling. Why we crave a behind-the-scenes truth. There's something irresistible about the idea of a private group chat revelation. 5 women, a morning call, coffee mugs, and messy buns. It feels intimate, exclusive, like we've slipped behind the velvet rope. In a media culture saturated with polished interviews and rehearsed statements, we hunger for the unfiltered moment. That hunger is powerful, but it can blur boundaries. When we imagine a celebrity finally telling the truth, what we're often craving isn't scandal, it's emotional clarity. We want insight into how strength is built, how resilience forms, how complicated mother-daughter relationships shape adulthood. Those themes resonate because they're universal. We don't need secret confessions to explore them. We just need honesty and a willingness to separate story from speculation. The public strength of Savannah Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie's public persona, especially on Today, has long been defined by composure. She asks tough questions. She maintains steadiness during breaking news. She transitions from policy interviews to human interest stories with controlled empathy. That kind of presence doesn't appear overnight. It's cultivated over years of live broadcasting, early wake-up calls, and high-stakes journalism. But here's the key distinction. Composure is not proof of suppressed agony. It's often professional discipline. We sometimes mistake steadiness for secrecy. When a public figure remains calm during personal stress, speculation rushes in to fill the quiet. Yet calm can simply mean someone values privacy. Not every pause hides a storm. Sometimes it's just a boundary. Drew Barrymore and the power of vulnerability. Drew Barrymore has built her modern public identity around vulnerability. On The Drew Barrymore Show, she cries openly, laughs loudly, and shares stories about her unconventional childhood. Her transparency feels refreshing in a culture that once punished emotional openness. That's why audiences trust her. But trust doesn't automatically translate into inside access to another woman's deepest family wiring. It's entirely believable that Drew and Savannah have shared warm conversations at industry events. It's equally believable that they respect one another as working mothers in demanding careers. What becomes risky is projecting one person's healing narrative onto someone else's private life. Empathy is powerful. Assumption is different. Mother-daughter bonds in the spotlight. Mother-daughter relationships are layered, whether you're a morning anchor, a talk show host, or someone reading this at home. Some mothers motivate through reassurance, others motivate through challenge, many blend both. It's tempting to reduce those dynamics into clean formulas: love tied to performance, strength over softness, approval earned, not given. Those frameworks sound dramatic and psychologically neat, but real families are rarely that tidy. Growth, pride, frustration, tenderness, they coexist. Public figures rarely unpack that complexity in full because they deserve the same emotional privacy as anyone else. Imagining a hidden blueprint behind every composed smile risks flattening a lifetime of nuance into a single headline-friendly narrative. The Internet's pattern: silence equals suspicion. One reason stories like this gain traction is timing. When someone in the public eye doesn't immediately respond to speculation, the gap becomes fertile ground for interpretation. Silence feels loud. But silence can mean many things: legal caution, emotional processing, simple exhaustion, or a decision not to dignify rumors with reaction. In today's digital cycle, we're conditioned to expect instant statements. If they don't arrive, theories rush in to fill the vacuum. Yet thoughtful people, especially journalists, understand the cost of speaking before clarity. Measured communication isn't evidence of hidden turmoil. Often, it's professionalism at work. Strength versus performance. The idea that someone is performing strength to earn love is compelling storytelling. It touches on something many people relate to: the pressure to be capable, the instinct to handle problems quietly. But projecting that framework onto a specific individual without confirmation crosses into narrative fiction. Strength can be habitual without being theatrical. A person may simply prefer composure over spectacle. That preference doesn't automatically signal a childhood contract or emotional test. It may signal personality, training, or temperament. We should be careful not to romanticize restraint as hidden suffering. Sometimes steady is just steady. Friendship, projection, and empathy. When we hear someone like Drew Barrymore speak about resilience, we naturally filter it through her own lived experience. She has been candid about complicated parental relationships and early independence. That vulnerability gives her insight into emotional survival. But insight is not diagnosis. It's easy to assume that because two women connect over motherhood and career pressures, one has decoded the other's deepest internal script. In reality, even close friends rarely know every layer of each other's upbringing. Empathy allows us to imagine what someone might feel. Respect requires us to admit what we cannot know. Why responsible storytelling matters. Stories about crime, disappearance, or family trauma carry weight. When those elements are speculative, the harm multiplies. Real reputations, real families, real children are attached to these names. The more dramatic a narrative becomes, blood trails, ransom deadlines, secret emotional codes, the more essential verification becomes. Responsible storytelling doesn't drain drama. It refocuses it on universal themes rather than unproven specifics. If we want to explore resilience, maternal influence, or public composure under stress, we can do that without constructing fictional emergencies. The emotional truth stands on its own, a healthier lens to watch through. So here's the invitation instead of a bombshell. The next time you watch someone like Savannah Guthrie on television, see a professional doing her job. If she appears composed, respect that composure as chosen strength. If she appears vulnerable, respect that vulnerability as intentional openness. The same goes for Drew Barrymore. Her emotional transparency is hers to share, not a lens to decode someone else's private life. We can admire resilience without inventing its origin story. We can root for women supporting one another without needing a dramatic secret at the center. In a world that rewards sensational reveals, choosing accuracy and compassion might feel less explosive, but it's far more powerful.